Then you're presented with one topology, and you're going to get to know this topology really, really well over the next couple of hours or so. The beta was 2.5 hours. I had 15 minutes left over. So time management, I can tell candidates right now, time management is going to be key to your success on this. You're going to be presented with several trouble tickets, all based on the same broad topology. And when you go into a trouble ticket, you're going to be told something, and I'll just make up an example. Maybe client A cannot get to an FTP server on the internet. Now, what might cause that? There's a lot of things that might cause that. Maybe the DNS server's down. Maybe your default gateway's not reachable. Maybe there's a routing loop. Maybe there's a switching loop. There's so many things that could result in that symptom. So you need to go visit several different devices in the network. You're going to have simulation questions or simulation flash-based access to access layer switches, distribution layer switches, core layer routers, the clients themselves. And you're going to have to issue appropriate commands to isolate where is this problem coming from. What would you do to solve it? Now, here's the way Cisco approaches this. When I first talked to Cisco about this back in the days, in the early stages of the book development, I was asking, well, is the student actually going to fix the problem? Do they go in there and say, okay, here's the problem, let's type in the commands to fix it? No, that's not what you do. And I think that's a good thing, because there are so many ways you can fix a given problem. So it's kind of sort of a multiple choice question, but unlike any multiple choice question you've ever seen. For example, you're asked first in a multiple choice question, which of these devices in the network is causing the issue? Which one is misconfigured? And there's a bunch of devices. You might have 7, 8, 9 different, maybe 10 devices in your topology that you might have to visit. So the first part of this multiple choice question is, what device do you need to fix? And based on your answer, you're given a second question. And that second question is, again, based on your response to the first question. Let's say that you said, Backbone Router 1 is the cause of the problem. Then you're given a list of technologies. Here are the technologies that are configured on Backbone Router 1. Maybe it's BGP. Maybe it's RIP into OSPF redistribution. Maybe it's a service, like a quality of service that's configured. So the second part of this question is, which technology on the device that you've already selected, you have to assume that's right, which technology is causing a problem? So you select that technology. Then you get to a third step in this multiple choice series of questions. And it says, okay, based on the fact you said it was a backbone router, based on the fact that you said it was a quality of service issue, here are maybe 3 or 4 different things you could do to fix this issue that you've identified. And maybe we're going to change this policy map. We're going to change this class map. So it's sort of a multiple choice question, but it's a hierarchical multiple choice question. So it's really a multiple choice question with about 100, actually over 100 potential answers, one depending on your previous response. So with the time constraints, it's impossible to just eliminate all the answers that are wrong and make your best guess. I mean, literally, you have over 100 possible responses for each of well over a dozen different trouble tickets. So you actually have to find the problem. And once you know the problem, then it's easy to say, it's the backbone router, it's a quality of service issue, we need to apply the service policy in the opposite direction, as an example. And that's just an example that I made up. So the exam is definitely 90% troubleshooting, and just a handful of multiple choice questions on general theory. And I said it's one topology, but realize you can do a lot with one topology. Yeah. Students should expect to have a variety of routing protocols, which implies redistribution. They should expect IPv4 troubleshooting. They should expect IPv6 troubleshooting. They should expect services troubleshooting, DNS, quality of service, NTP, and so on, just a few off the top of my head. So it's unlike any Cisco exam I've ever seen. It was actually kind of fun, but it was exhausting after 2 hours and 15 minutes when I finally finished the exam.
Yeah, that is probably the most comprehensive simulation/adaptive strategy I've ever heard of. I'd be interested to know how that stacks up on, say, the switch exam. Dave, what do you have to say about 642.8.13?
Well, I haven't seen the beta yet, so I don't have the great insight that Kevin had, but I would expect that it would follow the same format as previous switch exams, BCMSN, where you get a lot of focus on configuration and verifying that your configurations are working properly. There'll be plenty of scenarios where you have to see a bigger picture and then determine whether your features are working right or not. And I don't think there's so much hands-on troubleshooting, but we'll see.
Right. Wendell, have you seen the beta or the live exam for route?
I haven't. I did take the T-Shoot beta. I don't think they held a beta for switch or route.
Okay. All right. Next question is, again, regarding these official certification guides. How would you recommend a CCNP candidate use these in self-study? Let's say the person doesn't have the time or the money to attend instructor-led training, so they're going to go self-study route. Dave, how about I start with you? How would you recommend self-study with your book?
Well, I'd say first off, it's not impossible to get a CCNP or a CCIE, for that matter, based on self-study alone. Mm-hmm. That's the route I took for CCIE, and so it does work. It's a lot of work, but
yeah.
I think with the Switch book, you're going to get a lot of practical knowledge by reading the book. There's plenty of scenarios. There's plenty of quizzes and question and answers to let you assess yourself as you move along. And then, of course, there's a CD-ROM with a test engine in the back of the book that you can use to practice questions.
Mm-hmm. Wendell, how about you and your instructional methodology in creating the route book?
Well, there's the obvious get the book, read the book, pass the test kind of mentality, but I think something that maybe doesn't go said quite as often in our publishing space is the number of opportunities that a self-study candidate has to get help from other people in the world. You can Google and find many sites where there's communities there where you can ask a question. The Cisco Learning Network in particular has a very vibrant community where you can post a question and get a fast answer. In fact, a year ago or so, I was looking to say, well, maybe I'll pop in there and give a few answers here and there and spend a little time there. I could never get an answer in before 5 other people had already answered the question. So it was kind of interesting from that perspective that there's so many people looking to help out their colleagues with this. So besides the use the book, use the study tools in the book, obviously we design them to be used when you don't have any help other than the book, but use the community that's there. And the other thing is you should count on having some gear or an emulator to practice the real stuff. You got to do the hands-on.
Yeah, no doubt. In fact, I'm going to come back to Kevin in a slightly different context. And if you want to talk about your OCG as well, by all means. But you folks have also created these Video Mentor products, which are computer-based training, CBT lessons, several hours in each one, that I would think fit hand in glove with the text, designed again to support the self-study candidate. And Kevin, what does your Video Mentor have to offer the test-taking candidate, your T-Shoot product?
Got a couple of Video Mentors, both the route and the T-Shoot. Well, let's talk about the T-Shoot first.
Yeah.
One of the things that I mentioned, it was really an art and a science to troubleshooting. Being in the real world for many years, working on this stuff since '89, just a huge portion of your day is spent doing troubleshooting. If that's your main focus, setting up routers and switches. So there's a lot of experience that comes from that. And I said you needed to build up some intuition. Well, that's kind of one of the goals I had for the T-Shoot Video Mentor. We cover 12 different troubleshooting scenarios. Well, I should say it's more than 12. There's 12 labs, but some labs integrate multiple issues that need to be resolved. What I'm trying to do in this Video Mentor product is give the viewer the experience of looking for what's wrong. I don't just say, here's the ticket and here's a common solution for that. No, we say, here is a trouble ticket. Now let's go out and let's gather some information. So we go out live and we issue appropriate show or debug commands on the different devices, the switches, the routers, and oftentimes I'll ask them to pause right then. They're given supplemental material in a PDF that they can print out, and they can see the topology, they can see the output, and I ask them to hypothesize what they think is going wrong. So I really want them to look at the output and see what doesn't look right, and we give them multiple opportunities through that. As well as in the exam certification guide. But in order to do that effectively, you're not able to know what's wrong unless you know how things are supposed to work to begin with. That's why I think it's important that candidates go after the route and the switch curriculum first. For example, I did the route Video Mentor. In fact, it used to be a standalone product even before it was integrated in what we're seeing on screen now, the route cert kit. It was the routing Video Mentor you could buy by itself, and it covered everything pretty much from soup to nuts, from static routing